I always have a written plan for a session. I always kind of write down kind of what the exercises will be and what the steps are, and I quite rarely totally follow it in terms, I quite often adjust it as I'm going. But I feel really stressed if I haven't got a plan. I feel really, really stressed if I haven't got something kind of written down.
As the type of worker I am, I can change my plan, but I know what I'm changing it to. I'm not the type of worker who can think that fast on my feet. I need to have a few in my head about what to do. So I know, I'll have a plan, but I'll also have a backup plan.
Plan A,
it's not necessarily written down,
yeah.
But it's one that I know, so I'll run through that in my head.
Yeah.
So I understand what I'm going to do and where it's going to go. And I'm generally, but I can respond to this situation, but I sort of think about it before it happens, I think.
I just think I plan a session less rigidly. I think when I first started facilitating, I probably thought about exactly what exercises we were going to do and how long each of them was going to take. And now my plans are much more kind of open. And I think, again, that's about confidence. It's about me I feel confident going in with a loose plan, whereas before I would have been like, oh God, I haven't spent ages and ages and ages thinking about exactly what I'm going to do and exactly how I'm going to do it and how am I going to deliver this, and will that be clear instructions?
I began with everything on a piece of paper and I go, oh my God, that doesn't work, so where do I go now? Whereas now, I'm at a thought position whereas I feel I could go 1,000 different ways. That thing's going, I don't know what's happening. When I don't know what's happening, it's the most exciting point for me now.
I follow my instincts, and I'm not necessarily going, I'm going to do this now because this is a technique that's going to work in this situation. Often it just happens, or I just do it. And I'm much freer with being more flexible and and just taking those decisions as and when they come, rather than, I think I used to stick to a plan a lot more as well, and being able to kind of throw that out the window.
And I think, so I suppose it is quite an instinctive thing, kind of looking around and going, are people enjoying this? Are people engaged? Does the energy feel right? Is somebody feeling a bit left out? And what might I adjust in terms of my plan to respond to that?
I trust my instinct more now because I feel like, because I know it's been successful kind of previously in sessions, I don't feel like, I don't have moments of going, well, I'll probably still do sometimes, but I don't have as many moments of doubt of going, is this the right thing to do right now? Instead I just have the confidence to just do it, because I feel like I trust myself as a facilitator more now.
I still, even though 15 years of doing this particular job, I always learn from the first workshop, and then I'll always learn from the first group and the second group. That helps me feed into the next group. So I do learn and adapt and kind of then go, okay, I can see that asking them to talk directly about themselves works for some people, but it doesn't work for other people. Other people are responding better to the stimulus. Ask me a question about war, I can answer that question, or my name, or whatever.
You find that sensitivity with different people and what that particular group or person needs.
How are each of these people as individuals responding to what the decision I've just made now, and also how are they responding as a group? And because they all work in different ways, and that's something I've become much more aware of, is the individual needs of how different young people particularly learn.
With different groups, it's, of course, it was something that I've learned and I've been really interested in, and I'm still learning about, is how you work with all different people.
Yeah, God, it's complicated, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, really breaking it down.
I would always say an openness, just a complete clean slate, an openness, that when you go in to that room, you sort of expect the unexpected, and you're willing to kind of you're willing to go with that and play with that and have an openness to that.
I think that's the kind of, I suppose, a skill of being slightly opportunistic, or very opportunistic, when something kind of that you didn't intend actually really catches people's imaginations and being able to respond to that.
But there was this beautiful moment where basically George pulls out a flower, and he pulls out a flower to her and he gives it, and she goes, ooh, you know. And there was this one moment in a rehearsal where, and this is George all over, he pulled out the flower and I seen the head of the flower just go boop, and it flipped off and it rolled over there and he didn't see it. No one else did either, I did. I sat there, thought, right, okay, I'll just see what he's going to do. And it was as he was putting it in, getting himself set up for the sketch, we're going to do it right, and the flower rolls over there and he goes, so of course it comes to the moment where he goes, and he went, and it was gone. And he was like, and what he started to do very naturally is he started to feel what was supposed to be there. He went, then of course he looks at me as the teacher, and I play the game of like being a bit annoyed, you know, like, George, you've just ruined the moment. And he was like, so then he goes in his pocket, and of course it's not there, it's there, I can see it, you know, and he goes, and it's like this disbelief of like, that was there, I just put it in and now it's gone, but what do I do? You help me, and I go, and all I ever kept saying to him was like, I kept going, what do you want me to do? And he was going, like this, and then this panic grew in him, you know, and he played with the flower, and in the end he was like, and then he gives it, and of course Gemma didn't see it, so he gave it to Gemma, and then Gemma went, and her face, and it was like, what? There's like it's a droopy leaf, you know, oh God, and people were crying, laughing. We took that natural moment, and I went, George. And he went, oh, there it is, you know, puts it back on. But we took that very natural, beautiful moment and we took it into the theatre. And then the interesting and key thing is, how do you then reenact that natural moment? How do you make that live again as funny as, and that's an interesting thing as well, as that's when you start to create theatre, is when you go, there is the natural, there is George's natural clown, the clumsiness, sometimes can't get friends, and you turn it into something beautiful, and you also turn it into something theatrical.
Kind of thing of what matters. Does it matter for people to do things right, or does it matter for people to do things interesting? And there's a lovely thing that I've always enjoyed that Tim Etchells wrote about one of his favourite moments in rehearsals is when you've given the actors the instructions and then you've gone and sat down to watch what they do, and then they get up and you realise they've totally misunderstood the instruction that you've given them and they're doing something totally different. And that moment is the most exciting moment because, you know, suddenly something new is being created out of that, you know.